Welcome to the online class. My dear learners, how are you? I think you all are keeping well by the grace of Almighty Allah. I am also fine. This is Hasina Islam, lecturer, Department of English, Tongi Government College, Gazipur. This lecture is for the students of Honours 3rd year. Dear students, I think we have started Victorian poetry, and from Victorian poetry we have started Tennyson. So today we are going to start a new poem by Tennyson, and today we are going to start The Lotos Eaters by Alfred Tennyson. So this is a very nice poem, and this is a dramatic monologue. First of all, I am going to give you some information regarding this poem. And you know about Tennyson. He is a Victorian poet, and in his poetry he represents the Victorian era. And about this poem I'm going to give you some information that is from Lotos Eaters. This poem is based on the story of Odysseus, mariners of Homer's Odyssey. Actually, Odyssey is a very famous epic poem by Homer, and in Roman, Odyssey is known as Ulysses. So Odyssey, he was returning from Trojan War, and Homer wrote an epic poem, and Odyssey is the hero there. So in this poem, Tennyson powerfully evokes the mariners' yearning to settle into a life of peacefulness, rest, and even death. Victorian age is an age of unrest, and it was due to industrialization, people become so busy, and due to scientific advancement they were so busy, and that's why they wanted to have some rest. So in this poem, Tennyson, his concept is on the day. He actually wrote about death and taking rest. Okay, so what is the theme actually? What is actually time is here. This is very important for this poem. Time is really scary in the Lotos Eaters. The land of the Lotos Eaters seems to be stuck in some kind of endless afternoon. Actually, it was looking so drowsy, hazy. Okay, and it seems that all the time it was afternoon, and people were feeling very drowsy. And the speakers of the poem are obsessed with eternity, death, and endless sleep. And I told you that is this poem is written on the concept of rest. The Victorian people were very busy, and they became this restlessness make them so busy. That's why they wanted to have some rest. So this is a very wonderful land where the people, the Lotos Eaters, it's a type of flower, and the people here eats this lotus and feels drowsy. Okay, and a feeling of a type of sleeping feelings they feel always. Then another important information regarding this poem, that is The Lotos Eaters by Alfred Tennyson, is a famous poem of the Victorian period. The poet found inspiration from Homer's Odyssey, I told you, and wrote this poem. So the source of this poem is Homer's Odyssey. The poem is based on an episode of the hero's wanderings into the troublesome world. Odyssey or Ulysses, he was wandering here and there, and it was this poem is one of the part of his journey. It depicts the sufferings as well as their mental state standing between hopelessness and death. However, Tennyson visited the Pyrenees mountains, and the scenic beauty might have compelled him to look back to the story of the Odysseus again. He tried to revisit Odysseus' world through his poetic imagination in this poem. Actually, through his imagination, he painted this world. So Odysseus sailors are returning home after the fall of Troy. That is, they joined the Trojan War, and after joining this Trojan War, they were coming back home. And in their return to home, they visited an island. It was so mysterious. That is the Lotos Island, and are faced to land in a strange country after a strong wind propels them past the island of Cytherea. The inhabitants, the mild-eyed, melancholy Lotos Eaters. So how is the inhabitants in that island, Lotus Island? They were mild-eyed and melancholy Lotus Eaters, it is saying here, are sustained solely on the fruit of the lotus plant. So they eat this lotus, and always they feel drowsy. The sailors too eat the fruit and lose all desire to continue their journey. So after coming here, the Odysseus sailors, his companions, they also ate lotus, and they also felt drowsy, and they didn't get the same strength that they had, and they wanted to be there, and they did not want to have the journey. Okay, now we are going to enjoy this poem. I have told you that you have to listen to this poem very carefully, because it will be helpful for your pronunciation, and of course for your to improve your reading skill. So everyone, I'm going to start this poem, and listen to this poem very carefully. Let's start.
The Lotos Eaters by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Courage, he said, and pointed toward the land. This mounting wave will roll us shoreward soon. And in the afternoon they came into a land in which it seemed always afternoon. All round the coast the languid air did swoon, breathing like one that hath a weary dream. Full-faced above the valley stood the moon, and like a downward smoke the slender stream along the cliff to fall, and pause and fall did seem. A land of streams, some like a downward smoke, slow-dropping veils of thinnest lawn did go, and some through wavering lights and shadows broke, rolling a slumberous sheet of foam below. They saw the gleaming rivers seaward flow from the inner land. Far off, three mountain tops, three silent pinnacles of aged snow, stood sunset flushed, and dewed with showery drops, upclomb the shadowy pine above the woven copse. The charmed sunset lingered lower down in the red west. Through mountain clefts the dale was seen far inland, and the yellow down bordered with palm and many a winding vale, and meadow set with slender galingale, a land where all things always seem the same. And round about the keel with faces pale, dark faces pale against that rosy flame, the mild-eyed, melancholy Lotos Eaters came. Branches they bore of that enchanted stem, laden with flower and fruit, whereof they gave to each, but whoso did receive of them, and taste to him the gushing of the wave, far, far away did seem to mourn and rave on alien shores. And if his fellow spake, his voice was thin as voices from the grave, and deep asleep he seemed, yet all awake, and music in his ears his beating heart did make. They sat them down upon the yellow sand, between the sun and moon upon the shore, and sweet it was to dream of fatherland, of child and wife and slave, but evermore most weary seemed the sea, weary the oar, weary the wandering fields of barren foam. Then someone said, we will return no more, and all at once they sang, our island home is far beyond the wave, we will no longer roam. There is sweet...
So dear learners, today we are going to we have finished up to here, And of course you have to listen to this poem again and again. You will take help from your textbook and go through the lines. In my next lecture I will give you more information regarding this poem. Until then, Allah Hafiz, have a nice day. Thank you.